Okay, welcome back. Working on the Bultaco again. I think this is going to be a pretty quick one. I'm going to be running some diagnostic tests. I'm looking to do a leak down test and compression test. This is really difficult to start, so I suspect that the crankcase seals are bad. So I'm going to do a leak down test, which is essentially pressurize the crankcase and see if it's leaking. So I'm going to try to set that up today, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've acquired a few items to help me with the leak down test. So this is the rubber gasket that goes between the carburetor and the intake. Actually, why don't I just show you? Okay, so to do a leak down test, basically what we need to do is plug the intake and the exhaust and then pressurize the whole system. So to do that, so I have this rubber, I don't know what it's called, gasket, not really a gasket, but anyway, the rubber bit that goes in between there, this one's cracked, so you can see it's a little cracked there, so I replaced it. But basically what I'm going to do is I have just a rubber stopper that fits into there, so I'm going to use that to plug the intake. Then on the exhaust side, I have a couple of different sizes. These are just expansion plugs, so you twist this or use a ratchet on this. And the idea is you put this in the end, and then as you twist it, it expands and plugs the hole. These are more meant for like water, but should work just fine for air. So I'm going to put that on the exhaust side. I wasn't exactly sure what size it was, so I got a couple of them. And then I need to just draw a vacuum. So in order to do that, basically my idea is to drill a hole into this, or I guess this one. Drill a hole into it, and then take one of these air hose fittings, put it through here, seal it. I have a little gasket sealant here. Seal it, and then connect the hose to the other side. I also got a MityVac, which is just a hand pump vacuum. It's a little bit expensive, but so you could definitely do this for cheaper. But I got it because I actually want to bleed the brakes on that, and so this will help me do that as well. So kind of needed an excuse for new tools. So this also has a gauge on it. And the gauge is pretty low. So, okay, step one. I've got the plug and I put the fitting in it. What I did, I just took a quarter inch drill bit, drill the hole, and then just push that in. So this is actually a couple sizes bigger than the one I had in the little rubber thing in here. The tube is sort of curved and it curves downwards. So I just had a variety pack of these little rubber stoppers. So I just took the one that it just goes in just a short distance and then plugs it. But this should, because there's a hole through it now, I should be able to draw a vacuum from here, hoping that this seals against here. I'll shove it in there a little more. Well, the folly of measuring things before you take them apart is I didn't realize that there was an inner tube of the exhaust instead of the outer one, so of course this doesn't fit. So back to the hardware store. Okay, once you get the right size, then it fits in there. So actually it didn't come with this wing nut. I stole it from my other one and put it on there because it's easier to turn a wing nut. But this is what I got. It's a 1 3/4 to 1 7/8 expansion plug. Fits in there nice. Once you tighten it up, it should be nice and snug. So I've got this side plugged, and obviously the spark plug hole has a spark plug in it. Okay, so I have this hooked up. The rubber stopper actually isn't that great, so a little hard to do this with one hand, but I'm going to do my best. So what should happen is as we pump this up, we should gain pressure, but we're not gaining anything. So I think we've immediately failed the leak test. So I'm going to hold that rubber stopper in there and just see if that makes a difference. But yeah, I think we got a leak. Okay, I switched things up just a little bit. I put a slightly smaller rubber stopper in there, switched out the fitting, and then I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but then I put the old rubber gasket on there so that I could use the bolts to hold it on. And I think that works quite a bit better. At least I don't have to hold it. So, but when I pump this up, you see that the needle doesn't really move, which I can steady this a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, we have an air leak, obviously pretty bad. Instantly failed that leak test. It's supposed to hold vacuum. So I'm actually going to hook up the air compressor and turn the regulator way down and just put a constant stream of air and see if I can hear it, because with that bad of a leak, I should be able to hear it. Okay, so I've got the air compressor hooked up. I have the regulator basically turned down to almost nothing. And if I come down here, so you're not going to be able to see much, but just listen. Okay, so clearly have some leaks. So the leak I could hear was on the Kickstarter side. Obviously, I think we need to take that apart and see where it's leaking, because it shouldn't be leaking at all, much less just dumping air out. So probably have to replace that gasket. Not sure if we have to replace the gasket on the other side. I couldn't hear that one leaking, but given that the left side is leaking that badly, might as well replace the right side as well. So that's going to be next, is to get those seals. I'll have to order some in and then replace those seals.